Oh, okay. This is the second time I'm trying this because technology. Hopefully it works. Okay. So this is week 2 of Counterfeit. Sorry that we are not together today. But obviously I have COVID. Um, Obviously it's very like mild so far. I'm not feeling too sick, just keep blowing my nose and had a sore throat this morning, but feeling all right now. My energy feels okay today. I was a little groggy yesterday, but um, yeah, COVID. Clearly, I'm very excited that I got the booster shot in November. So clearly the vaccines work. They're keeping me pretty healthy. But I don't get to be around you, which is super sad. So here's the lesson for this week. Next week, I don't think I'll be able to be around people, so I will let you guys know what the plan is for next week when we have a little more time to come up with it. Hopefully, we'll do something in person. I'll communicate that once I figure it out because I'm just not there yet. So today we're going to go into week 2 of Counterfeit. This series is all about making your faith your own, which what I think is really cool about this is it reminds me a lot of what we do during confirmation and what you guys have all gone through, where you went through that process of learning about your faith and saying, yeah, like this is my own. I'm going to take ownership of this. And having a series like this where we're thinking about these things is really great because I think it's just an awesome way to start the year, but just a good refresher, right? Of like, this is becoming my own faith and like, how am I going to make it my own? What am I going to do to make it my own? So um, that's what we're talking about today. And to start, I want to talk about sharing a room with a sibling. I'm guessing quite a few of you have done that or might still do that. If you've never done it, it can be the absolute worst. In my experience, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit because I was rooming with my older sister, and she and I had very similar like shoe and clothing sizes, so it was really easy to just go steal her shoes and clothes because we shared a closet. So I wasn't complaining. She might have complained a bit more to be sharing with a little sister. But this is also something you might run into. Those of you heading to college next year, getting a roommate can be like a total shot in the dark. Sometimes it might be someone that you decide you're going to room with them. But also, a lot of times you just end up with someone random. That's what happened to me my freshman year. And it was good in that, like, our messy level was pretty similar. Like, we were both pretty messy people. But what really was awful was that she would stay up until like 2 or 3 a.m. every single night. Um, it wasn't Zoom at the time, it was Skyping her boyfriend. And so she'd have all the lights on, and I like couldn't get to sleep. And I was like, what the heck? So it can be really difficult when you're just like on different pages. Luckily, by my sophomore through senior year, I got to room with one of my best friends, and that was amazing. We were on the same level with everything, super messy people, but um, it can be tricky with like a roommate. Some of you might have that situation with a sibling right now where they're like way messier than you, or they're playing certain music and you're like, I can't handle this song one more time. So some of you might be a room. Maybe you are thinking more like, oh, I can't wait to have a car of my own. Like you don't want to share a car with a parent or a sibling. Maybe you're thinking, I can't wait to go on a trip with my friends where I don't have to go with my family. Or I can't wait until I'm old enough to have my own dorm room to decorate or my own apartment to decorate and like all the freedom that comes with just growing up and all those exciting things. They're exciting phases. They're ahead and it's so much to look forward to. But part of where you're at right now in high school is becoming your own person and figuring out who you want to be. You're developing hobbies of your own, a style of your own, kind of thoughts about what you want to do with your future, who you want to be. So it's a really cool time where you're figuring out all these things. And part of growing up, a very important part, sorry, I can't show you this on the big screen because technology, but part of growing up is developing a personal faith of your own. That's a very important part. And it's not about having that counterfeit faith that is a copy of someone else's, it's like your own. And what I'm not saying is that a faith of your own means faith on your own. Okay, that is definitely not what it means. Small group is still super important. Listening to sermons, listening to podcasts, that is all super important. You're not doing it on your own, you're just making it your own. So, experiencing faith for yourself isn't the same as experiencing faith by yourself. Very important clarification there. So there is a point in every person's life when they go from believing what someone else says or like copying what they say or what they do to making it personal for them. And having a faith of your own doesn't mean that you never listen to anybody else. It actually means that like you do need to involve other people, maybe even more than you think. So when I was younger, when I thought of Christians, I thought of like people at church that were all a lot older than me. We didn't have like a youth group or many kids my age. So I always thought of like older people. One of the people who had a great influence on me in my Christian walk was my aunt. She was kind of younger. Whenever like, she would have been in like high school, college when I was really young. So watching her faith and like seeing her faith and talking to her about the questions I had was really beneficial for me, and taught me a lot about making my faith my own. When I went to college, that was like a big shift for me where like I met my best friend Ashley, and her faith is so beautiful and so genuine and so sincere. And so it was just so great to suddenly have someone who was like, hey, we should pray about that, you know? And then when I got a counseling job at Spring Hill, that just completely changed my life. I think that I was like a lukewarm-ish Christian before I got that job. But then when I went to camp, we had this training. And if you guys ever want a summer job, especially those of you that are graduating, Spring Hill's a great place to get a summer job because there were like 2 weeks of training where you get to just hang out with other college kids. And we were all about the same age, but hundreds of college kids who just were on fire for Jesus and were like putting their hands up when they worship. And it was so foreign to me, but it was so amazing to see. And it taught me so much about having that genuine, real faith. And it helped me like stop pretending to, know what I'm doing and know what I have figured out and make it genuine and like have that relationship with Jesus. So definitely, I think that was a big turning point for me. And then from that point onward, just the amazing Christians I've met who are my age. I had a lot of really great roommates after I graduated college who loved Jesus so well. And, we're still friends today. Every Monday I meet up with Michelle and we grab coffee and we talk about future babies and some part of the Bible. So there's just been a lot of people in those relationships is where I can see that God was using those relationships and is still using those relationships to help me develop my own faith and become really strong in it. And this is true for anyone who has a faith of their own. It's not just a copy of people around them, but a faith that they're living out. Whenever you hear a story about someone's journey toward God, you are always going to hear about these relationships. And it's not just their relationship with God, but their relationships with other people. Maybe you've already started experiencing this, right? Maybe your own journey has involved someone who invited you to church or to youth group. Maybe it's just you went to youth group and you met some really great friends. And, when we're doing our small groups and we're doing our lessons, like you're able to connect with people your own age, which is really cool. Excuse me, sorry. And it could be someone that you have that conversation with. Maybe it's someone you're just watching. Maybe one of those relationships is what brought you to where you are today. Basically, the people around us affect our faith. And I feel like I may have skipped. No, we're good. Just like the right people can move our faith in the right direction, we also need to keep in mind that the wrong people can move our faith in the wrong direction, right? If we're hanging out with friends who maybe aren't strong in their faith or are making some poor choices, it can pull us away from Jesus too. So here are the big questions. If the people around us have a huge impact on our lives and our faith, how do we find the right people who can help us? And how do we prevent ourselves from being affected by the wrong ones, right? So there's an ancient piece of wisdom that we're going to look at today. It comes from the book of Proverbs. So it's really old advice, but it's super relevant. And what it says is, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. And this is from Proverbs 13:20. And I would say this is a great verse to really stick with you like freshman year of high school. And those of you going to college, freshman year of college, this is also super relevant because you're at kind of like that change point in life. And the people that you choose to spend your time with during high school and then during college are going to affect your life. If you hang out with wise, you'll become smarter and do life better. If you hang out with fools, you'll end up getting hurt. So we can all think of celebrities who, 15, 16, 17 years ago, they seem to be on a good path, and then something happens and they really go downhill. They surround themselves with not so great people, and they really lose a lot of, just who they are. Paul also talked about this idea when he was writing to the church in Corinth. And Corinth was a church full of people who had decided to follow Jesus, but they were kind of having a hard time giving up some of the not so great things that they had been doing. And so what Paul said in 1 Corinthians 15, he said, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." And what he's saying is if you want to move in a better direction, you got to hang out with people who want the same thing as you. The wrong influences are going to impact you in negative ways, just as people who are walking with the wise will be wise, the person who walks with a fool will be foolish. So you've probably seen this happen before, especially those of you that are a little bit older. You maybe have seen friends that start hanging out with the wrong crowd, or a friend who meets a guy and starts hanging out with him and not so great things happen. And so, again, you've seen this happen. Walk with the wise, you'll grow wise. Bad company will corrupt good morals. Important point. Jesus calls us to love everybody and to spend time with people who aren't like us, but that doesn't mean that we invite foolish influences into our inner circle. You can still be friends and have a positive impact on people who are maybe making some poor choices, but you don't need to date them. You don't need them to be your best friend that you tell all your secrets to. So this works negatively, but it also is equally true for people who are good influences. Also in the book of Proverbs is this great verse, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." So if you've ever seen an image of sharpening a knife, or if you can picture that, iron sharpens iron. There we go. So this is true with the people around us, right? Stronger friends make us stronger. They make us sharper and better at whatever it is that we're doing, including our faith. We all know what it's like to bring a counterfeit version of ourselves somewhere. We know what it's like to be kind of fake, to capping was the term Brian used last week, right? And it's super tempting to be counterfeit in church. There's always that temptation to act like we've got it all together and we don't need help. But when we do that, the real us misses a chance to grow. So we need mentors and family members and friends who are sharper than us and can move our faith forward from being a copy to being authentic in ours. Good news, when you show up as your real authentic self and have real authentic conversations with your friends or your leader, God uses those to make your faith stronger and more personal. So real faith, where is it? There it is, grows with other people. So that's why small groups are such a big deal. That's why we try to meet together as often as we can. And so kind of steps to take, I'm going to run out of time. I got a minute and a half left. Steps that you can take: showing up mentally. So taking a break from your phone, being all there when you come to church on Sunday. Have some one-on-one time, one-on-one time with Jesus, but also one-on-one time with a leader. We'd love to grab coffee with you. We'd love to chat with you. It could be a great next step. And maybe you know someone who could really use that encouragement. So last step, you could invite someone to join our small group. You can invite someone to come. Okay, we're almost out of time. So God wants to be close to you. He wants to feel real to you, to be personal with you. That's why he hasn't made this complicated. He put a lot of really great people around you to help you make your faith your own. So take a step, make other people a priority in your faith journey, because real faith grows with other people. Whew, I made it. Okay, so that was a speedy ending. All right, so there are going to be some questions in the details below. Take a look at those, and then we will figure out what next week looks like. I will communicate as soon as I know. So stay healthy, sanitize, wear your mask, do all the things. Don't get COVID, and I will see you guys as soon as I can.